Hello, everybody. Welcome to your favorite weekly podcast, Fanboy Talk. This is Troy Boy 17 coming at you live. I'm joined today by my co-host Mithi, who I'm joined by every other day. I don't know why I said today specifically.
Every other day, because we record every other day now. It's not weekly anymore.
You're wait, what's the term?
It's just this podcast is going to turn into a 24-hour live stream where we just talk like this all day, and I have to sit like this all day.
We're the CNN of comic book news.
Yeah, I'm. What impact does the Flash's release have on the 2024 election? You know,
it's gonna make it worse. Whatever impact the Flash movie has on anything, it's just negative overall.
It's not gonna make it.
I can't think of a positive effect of this movie aside from like.
Awareness?
I don't even fucking know at this
awareness
point.
Of what? I don't know.
I don't even know.
Something.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Flash spoilers. If you haven't seen it, I mean, what do you have any thoughts on it? Sorry,
spoilers.
What did you do this week, Mithi?
What I do this week? I didn't do anything. I have this. I'll show this. I'll show this for everyone.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think I showed this last time.
Look at that. Listeners. To our audio listeners, he's showing off.
I wasted money on this thing. I'm showing a gun. That's called a callback. I bought a Blackmagic 4K, and if anyone knows the best way to rig it up, let me know. I rigged it up with a cage and a half cage and like a monitor and stuff, and I might get a couple other things, but any other Blackmagic 4K nerds, let me know.
I got a Gorilla Pod.
Whoa.
A real one.
Did you get that from Best Buy?
Yes, I did. I went to Best Buy. I was trying to hunt down a Ninja Creamy, which I ended up finding. Anybody that knows what that is like, holy shit, he found one. And it took me forever. And I was at Best Buy and I was like, oh, cool. That's open box and on sale. It's like normally 80 and I got it for 40. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Are the open box things at Best Buy just on the shelves? Because every time I go into a Best Buy and try to look for open box stuff, I don't know where it is.
It's like there's like a red label on it usually, and it's not that much cheaper. It's usually not worth it.
Oh,
most of the time it means it's the shit that was
out on. I got a phone
case
that was like $20.
Yeah, it usually just means the stuff that was like out on display, and then they decided they don't want it on display. And they put it in a box. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about this thing, and I just found this out today, and I'm kind of pissed because I already ordered a new ball head. There's this quick release thing, right? And I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to get this quick release plate onto my teleprompter so I can quickly pull the camera on and off without having to.
But then you can't mount the bottom of that onto your teleprompter.
Because this thing I thought was going to be like a tripod screw, because like you can buy the ball head separately, and I thought you could just put a tripod screw into it. It's a different size screw, and so I'm like, this isn't worth it.
Is it a 3/8 screw or something?
Something like that. I don't know. It's not like it's not
there
like
are two main screws. There's 1/4 quarter-inch screws and then 3/8 screws. Yeah, and that's my problem with this. I wanted to get this monitor that you see up here on here, but all of the mounting plates that you need to get for this are 1/4-inch screws, and this is a 3/8 screw instead. And those ones separately are like twice as expensive. And I'm like, this is stupid. Camera rigging is just for people who have a bunch of money. That's why the Arri Alexa cost $100,000. And I want it, but I'm never going to get it, but I really want it. And if someday I get that money in the budget to do something, I'm just buying an Arri Alexa. And I've been watching.
If you want, I can start paying you for the podcast and you'll be able to afford it. You know, we make so much money on this thing.
Yeah, we make like at least $500,000 an episode. Exactly. Right.
I really like how
if we were making $500,000 an episode, I would have thrown my hat in the ring to direct this.
I know we would have done. We would have actually taken this thing seriously. I love how SocialBlade will give you like a ballpark estimate of how much a YouTuber makes, and then it's like $5 a month to like $2 million a month. It's like the biggest like range I've ever seen in my life.
It's never accurate, right?
It's never accurate, and then people always assume the highest. People are like, "Wow, Troy, you're really saying you don't like billionaires, but you make all this money from just YouTube?" And I'm like, "No, I do not.
No,
I do not make that much money at all. I am a poor man because I don't have a real job. I'm a YouTuber. That's why I take every sponsor I can get."
I have a real job, and even I don't make enough money. I was so nervous to make purchases. Like even buying this thing, I was scared. There was an eBay bid for like $800 for a Blackmagic. I did it, and I felt like my life flashed before my eyes. Yeah. I was like, "What did I do? What did I do?" And then someone outbid me 10 seconds before it ended, and I was like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah. You know what comes out tomorrow?
What?
The fucking collector's edition for Spider-Man 2.
saw the statue. I didn't know it was coming out tomorrow.
It's the pre-orders go live tomorrow, and they're probably going to sell out in like 2 seconds.
How much is pre-order for it?
$220 or something. It's expensive.
Oh, I mean, $220.
It's more expensive than the last one.
I guess.
The first one was $140, I think.
Oh, okay, that's a steep.
Yeah, well, it's because this one is a $70 game, and the fucking deluxe edition is probably $20. That plus a steelbook for, say that's like $5 or whatever, $10. And then the statue's big. It's a 19-inch statue. So hopefully so it's like full, better quality too.
It's not even a desk piece. It's more than a desk piece.
It's a thing. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try to get it tomorrow. I gotta wake up early for jury duty anyway, so like that works out well.
There you go.
Yeah, jury duty's not gonna be fun.
I have to. Will not be getting it because I've instead been playing Spider-Man PS. I have been playing more Spider-Man PS4, and I finished all the bosses. Or not the bosses, the forts or whatever.
Oh,
I don't know. Strongholds.
The little hideouts. Strongholds.
Yeah, I finished all those.
Now I have to do all or just the.
Not like the DLC ones, just like all the Kingpin ones and all the the basic.
I wasn't sure if like how far you were to the story and if like.
No, I finished the story and everything.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be funny if you finish all the collectibles and then finish the story.
I did that. I didn't do that for the. I'm the kind of guy that's like shit. If the game tells me I should be out doing stuff, I'm gonna go out and do a shit ton of stuff before I even touch the story again.
That's because fair. And then you kind of finish the story like a boss. Yeah,
I know.
I said like a boss, like it was 2009. What the fuck?
So cool. When you were like 5 years old? I'm
disgusted with myself. Yeah, yeah, that's what. Oh my goodness, you're actually right. I was like 5. I was like 7, I think. Jesus.
But I'm just like, especially like if it tells me, because in that game he'll be like, oh well, I should go look at this stuff. I should go do this stuff. And so that means like I'm like, wow, this is a good place to stop the story and do all this for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I did,
which I guess Spider-Man would do. Probably. Yeah. Depends.
Well, I just like I don't like to beeline the story just because I was like, oh, what if Peter dies at the end of this? What if like this? What if they pull a fucking Red Dead? I'm like, I want to play as the character that I like. Not that I didn't like Miles, but they didn't do Miles.
No, but like even if it's like that way too, like when there's a week gap in the story in PS4,
like I want it to feel like there's a gap. I don't want to have to go up immediately and play it like it's the fucking 8-hour movie.
He was just sitting in one place for 1 week just going but yeah,
although I do like having stuff after the story's done, so I just
you do a little
I need both. I need them to give me more shit when the story's done.
I have the problem where I eat my dessert first. I do all the easy stuff first, and then I have the hard stuff left. So I have all the taskmasters.
Especially because the story will give you shit. The story will give you like pretty like imagine trying to do all the shit without the web bomb. You need that.
Which I did.
Yeah,
I did everything except taskmaster challenges with only the I used a web bomb on like a couple of the last bases, and I was like, oh, this is nice and it's kind of a cheat code for the game.
Yeah.
A little. Like it feels like cheating
and concussion blast kind of breaks that game.
End all these people.
Really funny,
but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Flash. We watched the Flash movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
What's your spoiler free? Very brief. What's your spoiler free thoughts? Yeah.
Don't watch it.
Yes.
You can if you want. I'm not gonna stop anyone from going to see this movie because they're not gonna make any money anyways.
Yeah.
But like, I don't.
It's not like it's some moral prerogative in the
spoiler alert. I didn't like it.
Like I think like I would recommend to not see this movie because it's bad. It's just not an enjoyable experience. It is not worth your time. And
if you haven't seen Spider-Verse yet, obviously go see that instead of this.
Especially seeing Spider-Verse first will ruin this movie for you.
And when Whiplash. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning comes out, definitely go see that instead of this.
Or Barbie.
Or like when other movies are coming out, go see those other movies before you see this movie. I guess, if you're just like kind of.
But even then, I don't think I would recommend. Even if someone's like, "Oh, I've seen everything else," I'd be like, "Don't just skip this one."
Yeah.
Like
if you were someone who was not a comic book fan, and just no one in this podcast is listening who is like this. They know about comic books. They know about the Flash. They know spoilers were going on Twitter like for a week. But if you were just like raw, normal human being with a normal life, and you weren't burdened by the intellect of being a comic book person, that sounded so pretentious. Would you like this movie?
I think if you're a big Keaton fan, if you really love Michael Keaton Batman, you would fall for that fucking that shit so hard, you know. But
would you, or would you just
if you're a comic
like,
fan, you probably like the Flash.
If I feel like if you grew up like as a child and you watched the Keaton movie and you're like, oh my god, I love Batman, and that was it, then I feel like you would love just seeing him again. But if you were like a Keaton diehard fan, like Christian Production Journal, if he went and saw this movie, I think he also hated it, but he's like a huge Keaton fan.
Not really. I know he doesn't really love those movies.
I thought he said he did. I thought he loved.
Every time I've talked to him, he's been like, "Yeah, I hate them, but I really like this stuff."
I
don't remember. I might be forgetting. I don't know.
I don't know. Like if you're a normal person, I don't know.
Like, I'm not gonna like demographic this movie into like, oh, this demographic would like it and shit. What I do think, like, if you're a comic fan, you like the Flash, and this movie's not a Flash movie. This movie's not for people that like the Flash.
Just watch seasons 1 through 3 of the Flash again.
Yeah,
just do that.
It'll be better. I feel like it's for the people that like really have like adored this new era of DC ignoring the good movies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like DC has actually, DC has had some pretty good shit coming out recently. But
people who like the Suicide Squad for the wrong reasons.
I don't even think.
But there are no wrong reasons to like the Suicide Squad.
People that like Joss Whedon Justice League. That sounds really mean to say, but
there you go.
This is like more of a continuation of that. And like,
it feels like a direct sequel to that movie.
I think because it technically is, but although they referenced the fucking Snyder Cut a couple times,
only visually, and I guess
they
like
say
a couple things
they talk about it, and they talk about it, like honestly, the Snyder Cut is canon to this. I don't know what it is. Yeah, people are talking about because like I don't know why it wouldn't be, because it's the same fucking movie. The same shit happens in it,
and they reference like the way he runs and everything too. Is this
But I'm just like I don't know who this movie's for. People in my theater were having a decent time. I think I was not.
It's for James. Someone clapped at a certain part in the movie, and I wanted to groan so badly. It's the part you think it is. They clapped at that part, and I was like,
so many parts that could be. That's the worst part.
Specifically, third act parts. A really bad. Yeah, they clapped at that.
They clapped
at it. And I was like, that's not what you do at that part. That's not what you do there. Don't do that there.
That part.
Yeah. The guy next to me was like, wow. So that was like really good, right? And I was like,
you know who this movie's for? I'm going to be mean. This movie's for babies. This movie is for the babies that it's fine. I was trying to hold back. I don't care anymore. The man babies who see a thing and clap and say, "Oh, that made movie good." The man babies who think, God, not to be too mean to Spider-Man No Way Home. The man babies who like Spider-Man No Way Home for the worst reasons.
This is,
I don't care. I'm gonna say it. The people who only like Spider-Man No Way Home because of the other Spider-Man, who don't like it as a normal movie.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. This is for people who are not looking for anything beneath the surface of the movie.
They just want action figures smashing into each other, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
And
they only watch videos analyzing action figures smashing each other. Yeah, exactly. They're even like looking into that,
This movie is a kid smashing action figures together and then realizing, oh shit, I lost my Ben Affleck Batman figure. Oh god, I might as well use Michael Keaton. Oh god, where's my Superman one? Oh, I think I left it at my friend's. Let's use Sasha Kai as Supergirl, who is probably the best part of the movie, I guess. hard to tell because she's barely fucking in it.
That's
like she has nothing to do.
Oh no, I have 2 Flash figures, but one of them doesn't have a head. So I'm just gonna take another head from a completely different figure and carve into it and make it look like absolute dog shit. I have
2 Ezra Millers, and one of them is awful. One of them is the most insufferable character I've ever seen in a movie in my life.
One of them is like just a piece of clay that I just like threw on there instead.
Who the fuck? I'm sorry. I was giving this movie the benefit of the doubt because I was like, oh, Andy Machete's cool. Andy Machete is a good director. I like the It movies. I even like It Chapter 2. And I don't think any of my problems with this
Bill
movie are
in It Chapter 2, and I like those.
You should watch It Chapter 2. It's pretty fun. It's funny. It's more funny than the first one, but like, it's a good time and stuff. And so when everybody was like meat writing this movie so hard before it came out, it's calling it the best superhero movie ever, I was like, I don't know if I believe that, but I'm sure it's an enjoyable time because it's from a director that is a good director and shit, and all this shit. And then I see the movie and I'm like, what movie did they watch? That wasn't this one. I didn't watch that movie.
And this is obviously
I watched the movie that I was worried it was going to be.
This movie gave me a headache. This movie genuinely gave me a headache while I was watching it. And I literally was watching the movie like this the whole time. My facial expression was like this the entire time I was watching this. Just because, so I understand.
Right now he's sticking his tongue out and putting hot dogs in his mouth.
I am. And I'm holding a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm microwaving a bunch of babies.
This movie. So oh my god, this movie was the the hot dog scene for a whole movie.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
2 scenes, but then no, you're right. It was,
but then those extra 2 scenes were just ripping off the fucking CW.
No, they were just like pulling it off from this. Yeah, and so like. Oh my goodness. So I came back from the movie and I was just like yelling to one of my friends just like about how much this movie pissed me off. And the CGI is not the worst part. The narrative parts of the movie are far worse than just looking at only visual effects stuff. But it doesn't help that I have to stare at that suit. I hate that suit.
It's better than I thought it would be. I was expecting to be like appalled the entire time. I got over it and I got used to it. I was like, okay, it kind of looks kind of neat. I just don't like the mask and stuff. I agree with you that the CGI wasn't as bad as like it looked. But there was a lot of it. There was a lot of scenes that I was like, this didn't need to be much CGI. There's too much stuff in this movie where the guy who DP'd this was the guy who DP'd the Suicide Squad, and you can tell by the camera moves, the fast panning camera moves and stuff. There are stylistic choices in this movie that are interesting. Yeah,
I also kind of fucking hate them, and maybe that is just a kind of a personal thing, but I don't like the weird. Like I get the Speed Force thing, and in that opening shot where he's running, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. But then after a while, it just becomes nauseating to me, and maybe that is just a personal thing. But the whole concept I
didn't get enough of that because he was barely running in this fucking movie.
That's true. He just kind of like teleports places too.
Like I think the big fisheye thing that was in the trailers, that big fisheye when he starts to run, that was pretty neat. I was like, that's kind of interesting because it's like the world is warping around him as he, I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, some of the ideas of how to make him run is fresh, and it's hard because you have the CW show, which did the cheap, easy thing of just to cut and he's gone and then show, and so you have to like overdo it to justify this $200 million budget. I kind of understand that, but it's just, I think the script itself, because I want to be clear, I like the screenwriter a lot. She did Birds of Prey. She's really cool, Christine Hodson. And I like Machete a lot. Okay. I like the director. Okay. I don't think that any of the problems that I have with this movie are their fault, which is weird because that's a big chunk of the creation of the creative team.
I have a few problems with the script, and I have a few problems with the direction.
Because I think the script is
part of this movie.
The script has been fucking hodgepodge and it's pieces out from the past 20 years of creators. Christina Hodson didn't write this movie. Christina Hodson went back and fixed a script that had been written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten for 20 fucking years. And so I'm like, wow, you actually,
Plus, so much of the comedy on this feels like so much of the comedy on this feels so ad-libbed too, like where they just let a shot run on for too long. I kind of felt
I guess
that
I
in a
could
couple
see that.
scenes.
I think there were bits of the comedy where I'm like, the script was going for something here, and then I think either Machete didn't catch on to it or just studio notes didn't let it go. Because okay, the sort of spoilers, I guess, the babies that on paper is very funny. Oh my god! There's a bunch of
Looney
babies.
Tunes funny, yeah.
It's the remember the bit I did in that Flash video where I was like, oh no, a truck's gonna go hit the orphanage and the dynamite factory and the playground, and like that's what that was. And I was like, that's very funny, but the movie doesn't play it like that. The movie plays it like kind of like serious. Yeah, and I'm like, you could have leaned into how like
it doesn't play it funny until that actual moment, and even then, it's not being played as funny. It's being played as like. It's still kind of a joke.
I'm a big fan of like superhero media being like, oh no, the prom's tomorrow. You know, like that kind of like extreme, like surrealist conflict, you know? And like I think this movie didn't lean into that enough, but it didn't, I don't know, it didn't know what it wanted to be. And then on top of that, it tried to force in the multiverse. Like when you think about this movie, this was Femi Yua's movie. That was the Cyborg Flash buddy cop movie
joint,
and then Famula was Rick. I'm gonna call him Rick because I'm not gonna say his last name frequently. Rick left. Famuyua is how it is. Okay. I can't talk today because the Flash broke me. But he left for creative differences, and then I think it was Goldstein and Daly came after that, who are also very good directors. Rick is also a great director. I love him.
Yes, Game Night.
And the Game Night people, they came and D&D and stuff like that. They came in, they came up, they took that script idea, they redid it, and then they left for creative differences. And then Morrison and Ezra treated the script again, and because they were like, hey, this isn't really a Flash movie anymore, can we do a Flash movie about this, which I think is actually pretty admirable. I get that. And then Warner Brothers was like, we'll look at your treatment and see, and if we don't like it, we're going to fire you. They didn't like it, but they kept them. They kept them. They kept Ezra, and then other people hopped on the script. It just I think I guess Machete was after that.
Is that one Machete? Yeah.
I feel like there were other people in the between.
There might have been other people on the writing
Steve has
team,
a video
but I think
about
after
Camera Films has a video about it, right? Whenever that comes out, he sent it to me earlier.
I do know that the Game Night directors, they left because they didn't work with Ezra very well. Like Ezra, them did not get along.
That does not surprise me.
That's what I heard at least. So I don't know. I don't know at what point this movie was a Captain Cold, just small thing. I don't know.
I think Femi was kind of was. I think. And then Cyborg was added to that. I don't know. It had to have been eventually or sometime. Yeah. You know, when did it become Flash? Well, we can't know. That's all inside baseball type shit. Like it's so behind closed doors and shit. So
and it's also I do get the idea that okay, the Flash show did a bunch of stuff, and you guys didn't make the movie soon enough, so the Flash movie has already treaded a lot of this ground. You know, so what do you do with a Flash movie? You have to do something different. You have to do something cool. I get bringing Grant Morrison on board and trying to do something interesting there. And this movie tries, but
well, it's funny because the Flash show never did Captain Cold. It never it did him as a side character. They never did the rogues to like the extent that like they should have. They kept on trying and they kept on fucking up. And I wonder if that's because an early part of this movie script said, "Hey, no, don't do Captain Cold as the main villain. Don't do that. Yeah. You can do whatever you want, but you can't do this."
Yeah.
Because the shit that this movie does, the show already did, and the big twist at the end, the show already did. The show did the same exact shit.
And you see the twist coming from
I saw a twist coming from 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can't talk spoilers. We don't like this. I don't like this movie. It's not even like the worst thing in the world. It's about as good as Black Adam, which I don't like. And
I think it's a more fun watch than Black Adam, but it's still worse than Black Adam.
I can glaze over and be like, okay, it's The Rock's movie. They were gonna do something interesting and then they just didn't.
Yeah.
But this movie, I'm like, wow, I love the Flash as a character, and then they fucked up the Flash. Yeah. And there are moments of, oh, that is interesting. but it's the same shit as the show.
Yeah. Yep.
You know. And so I'm like, why even do Barry Allen? Why, there's all this shit where it's like I feel WB fucked up the production of this movie so bad because every single issue was WB. I didn't know about Ezra not working with Goldstein and Daly very well, but like for the most part, every issue was was WB. It starts from
WB,
saying we don't trust the Flash as a character, so put Batman in, put the multiverse in, do this, do Flashpoint. And if WB had just shut the fuck up and let somebody make a good Flash movie, even with Barry Allen, it would have stood apart from the show. It would have been its own thing and would have been really good. But instead, it was this fucking thing, you know?
Which is a high budget, big, bombastic, massive, high profile failure. That's what this movie is going to be. Yeah. And that's what people are going to know the Flash as now, because the show's ended and people didn't like the way the show ended, and now the movie's out and people are not going to like how the movie is.
Flashpoint. They should have renamed it to Flashpoint to fix the Flash brand.
That would have still done well.
It would have done the exact same as it currently is, which is probably not very good because my theater was basically empty.
So. Yeah, mine had.
I really wish that James Gunn in that big press conference had been like, "Hey, we're changing the name of the Flash to Flashpoint."
To Flashpoint, yeah.
Because now it's like, when are we even getting the Flash again? Because I don't know what the fucking deal with Ezra is. Yeah. Ezra might stay, and that's stupid.
And the way this movie ends, it gave me questions.
Also, everybody, if you haven't seen this movie and you're still here for the spoiler-free stuff, don't go to this movie expecting to see the reboot, because it does. I'm going to say it now. It doesn't happen. This movie doesn't reboot the universe. They say it did. They said it did. It doesn't. And I'm not upset.
I am 95% sure it didn't.
It definitely didn't. It 100% did not.
There's a 5 or like a 1% of me that's like,
maybe a couple things are different, but no. This is for the most part. This is the same thing.
But the fact that it's the same director going on from this movie to Brave and the Bold.
They're not so radically different, though. I'm not worried about that. We can talk about that more, but like that's a Batman movie. This is a Flash movie, and like and again, this is a movie that has been in development hell for so fucking long, and Machete probably wasn't allowed to have as much freedom as he would have wanted and shit. And James Gunn will probably give him that freedom for Batman and stuff. Yeah. You know. Also, think of Machete's a horror director. Imagine that dude doing a fucking Batman movie, like a real Batman movie.
He'll do it.
That's fucking cool. I don't know. I'm not too worried about that right now. It's like saying, oh, Taika Waititi directed Thor: Love and Thunder. That sucks.
He's never gonna make another.
He shouldn't do another Jojo Rabbit type movie. Like, no, hang on. Let's not think of it. That's not how directors work, and that's not how studios work, and that's not how I don't know. Yeah, I'm personally not worried about it,
but. I'm not 100% worried about it. The part of me is just like, like I think even stylistically, I'm like, what do I want out of a Batman movie? And I guess I do want something different than what we're getting with Matt Reeves, and it's going to be different very clearly, But I guess we'll just have to wait.
I don't know. I mean, that one's also going to lean into silliness more. And this movie, when it played it silly properly, I think it was fun. And the heart was there. I will say, as much as it was,
there is heart to
the same shit. The same shit as the show. The heart was pretty. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty good. I was like, I enjoy. It's just the show because it's the only thing Barry Allen has.
I've seen a better actor do this better before. And that kind of ruins it.
Exactly. I think. Yeah. I mean, I do prefer the mom in this one though to Nora in the first one in the show.
Because they also ruined Nora in the show too.
Yeah, that's true. They made it the Speed Force equivalent.
And then she's like she hangs out with Barry, and Barry's like, this is weird. And I'm like, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they also didn't do Thawne and stuff. I thought that was neat. Sorry, that's
that's not spoiler. We can talk spoilers, right?
We're talking spoilers, yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, don't.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
I will say, I don't think I enjoyed a single part of this movie other than maybe the climactic scene.
I didn't enjoy the climactic scene. I think I enjoyed
I didn't enjoy the opening. I hated the opening. Well, I didn't like it. I wanted to, and I understood why there are parts of it that worked, but then it just kept pulling me out. How I don't know. I get that it's supposed to be ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, but I feel like does it go too far? For
I don't think it went too far with. I think it didn't go far
No?
enough with the ridiculousness.
Okay. Yeah.
I think if you were to cut out all the Batman shit and all the other Justice League shit, and it was just natural disaster, Flash has to go save a hospital from falling down, and a bunch of babies fall out. I think that's fun. I think that's funny. That would have worked. Yeah. It is just the fact that we're talking to Jeremy Irons and Ben Affleck, who does not want to be there.
That's not his face. What's going on with his face in that whole scene? That's not his face.
You know what he looks like? He looks like when we got those set photos of the Reeves bat suit, and the guy had like a bunch of motion tracking dots on his face.
Oh yeah, that's right. It does look like that, and it just looks off.
Yeah, and the suit is ugly too. Yeah, everything with Ben Affleck, I was like, he doesn't want to be here. I feel bad for this guy.
People are like, don't,
because Ben Affleck sucks.
People are also like, oh my god, I love the voice. The voice is perfect now. I didn't. What? It was fine. People really loved Bat. I don't know. It's a little less deep. It's just more grovelly, I guess. That's it.
I was distracted by how ugly that fucking suit was. I'm sorry.
No,
that was the ugliest shit I've ever seen.
That's the worst Batman suit? Probably?
Sure. Yeah. I'll say it.
Worse than bat nipples.
I like the blue. The color, the cowl was okay so long, like, on its own. Just didn't like the rest of it. And the weird so armor weird plating. How Ben Affleck Batman started with the best suit.
Yes,
like he had the perfect costume, and it's only gotten worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did this movie feel the need? Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman is probably one of the better of the DCU movies.
Yeah.
It was the first one. Why that movie just said, "Oh, Bruce Wayne," on like it just shows a little note card from him. Ben Affleck's not in that fucking movie.
No.
You know, it's just a little mention of like, "Hey, what's your fucking deal, lady?" Yeah. And then she's like, "Huh, what is my deal?" And she just that's all it is. She explores
her deal.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. Yeah.
And like, if that's all that this did, I think that would have been far better. But it is and in that way you can have other fucking Flash characters involved.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, oh nope, here's Jeremy Irons, here's Ben Affleck, here's Gal Gadot.
What did you say was a Falcone something? It always takes place in Gotham. What is this, Titans?
Everything's Gotham.
For them to go back to Gotham all the time.
Gotham.
Yeah.
Gotham's hospital could collapse, and I won't give a shit. You can quote.
There's no one in there anywhere. They're all in Arkham.
I know.
Yeah. So.
Unless Batman put them in there. Batman put those babies in there. Because remember, this Batman fucking murdered people.
That's true. He could beat this shit out of a baby. You don't know. You don't know.
Fucking Alfred's like, those moms will be really happy, and Bruce is like, actually I killed their moms. Actually, they I killed their moms because they robbed a grocery store.
Yeah. And I branded them. the baby. No, jeez.
But I mean, I think the opening itself is like fine. I think the stuff with the calories is interesting. Of like, oh shit, I gotta eat first. You know, it's a little silly, but it's a little fun. I'm okay with it. You know.
I mean, this movie just like opens fast and it just gets to it, which I kind of appreciated. You know,
the logos were neat. I was like, it showed all the old DC logos.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool little
right
treat.
Yeah. It was just the lasso
I'm sorry, I'm trying to say things that I liked when I'm thinking about this.
Did you like the lasso thing?
No, of course I didn't fucking like the lasso thing.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. I'm still at the beginning.
Okay.
I liked when he like started to try and run, and then the title started to slowly creep up, and then got interrupted,
that was fun.
And then that was okay. That's a neat little, you know. And I'm like, I don't believe that any of these people will be this excited to see the Flash.
I like that the titles were just like straight up, and even the credits too. They're just like the PNGs. That's it. I was like, okay, that's fun. I guess, you know, good for them. There are no extravagant credit sequence. Yeah. I still don't get the thing with this running.
Spider-Verse. We had too much art going on.
No,
get that out of here.
I don't want any art anymore.
I don't just not shots, in my superhero movies.
Shots and text, and that's it. I want my movies to look like YouTube videos with the promotions on the side.
I want an end card at the end.
This video is sponsored by Honey. Yeah, you can click on. No, I was. Well, what's the thing with this? They never like talk about his running thing, his like weird stance or whatever. Is that just a thing he does? I guess.
I think he's just weird.
I don't. He's just weird.
He's just a weird dude.
I'm weird. You see this way I'm standing? I'm weird.
I did. I mean, I thought it was funny how when he lost his powers, like they kind of made fun of that.
That was
a neat little. I was like, oh, that's okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you? Okay, hang on. How much in depth do you want to go on this fucking movie? Because
we could go to say we could go less. Okay. I'm trying to think of what happens, and I'm like,
he goes back. Oh, he goes to his house, and okay. I liked how the mom was Italian. Is that weird?
No,
I was like, wow, Andy Machete gave like an Italian actress, and she was like, she, didn't have her pretend to be American. She had an accent. I was like, there's like, okay, you put some of your own personal life and history into that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Canonically, this Flash is Jewish, so hopefully the dad is Jewish, I guess.
Is he?
Yeah, they've said it in Justice League.
Oh. I didn't even know that.
That's why, yeah. I only know that because I did the video and stuff. But no, I liked that little family dynamic. I liked the way the mom felt like when you see in the show,
she felt like a real mom. Yeah.
She didn't feel real because she was too goddamn nice. But like this show was always like, oh, Nora Allen was so good. She was so kind and so loving.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, she seems kind of like a normal CW mom, and I don't really believe that. But this one, I was like, wow, this woman seems like a really nice person. She seems like genuinely kind.
Yeah, the brief flashback scene was like, even when he's like when it slam cuts to him just being in front of the house, that kind of worked for me, like a little bit. Those were the things where, are they stealing from the Flash show a little? Yes. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of its own spin on it. Yeah, but it's not enough.
Well, it's hard because
it works, I guess.
This is the problem. Barry Allen as a character doesn't have a goddamn thing to him. I just realized I wasn't recording on the audio backup. So if the audio turns to shit, that's on me. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But Barry Allen as a character is fundamentally lacking in like serious development and character to the point where like everything Barry Allen that like people think is interesting about Barry Allen is taken from Wally, aside from the mom stuff, which is a Jeff Johns rebirth thing that was added relatively recently. And that is an interesting story of like, oh, my mom died, my dad was framed for it. Like on paper, that is a very interesting character dynamic.
Yeah, because he still has his dad, and he has like a motive to keep fighting for that.
Yeah, it's like an Uncle Ben thing, but there's like nuanced layers to it and stuff like that. It's very interesting. The problem is the show did that. The show did it really fucking well with John Wesley Shipp.
Yes.
And so now, anytime you think of that, because again, that is the only thing Barry Allen has. If you want to treat him like that, the best way to treat Barry Allen.
They also ended that in a really good way. I don't feel like people give credit to the Flash writers to like at the beginning of season 2, it's finished, but then the dad moves on because he's like, I need to go see the world on my own. But you have a family of your own here. You built that over the course of the past first season. That's such a very unique and interesting, and I hate using the word unique now because it's been ruined for me. But it is a unique way to end that story.
Yeah,
you can't do that in a movie like this.
Jay Garrick.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. The Flash of the George Reeves universe.
God. I did like. I mean, I was like, oh, cool, Jay Garrick. That's neat. Finally, fucking, there's something Flash related in this fucking movie.
That's true.
But we'll get to those. We'll get to those. But now it's like it's like I see what this movie, and if the show didn't exist, I'd be like, wow, this is really cool. The show exists, and that's the hard part. And so it almost makes me think, then maybe you shouldn't have done Barry Allen. This should have been Wally West from the start.
People kept saying that like they set up Barry Allen and Grant Barry Allen to work well in this movie. The story would have to be altered, but you could have done that. You could have done novice Barry and experienced Barry and Barry. But like, I mean, that Barry already went through Flashpoint.
Which one would be the experienced one?
Grant, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, because what is interesting about this dynamic is two Ezras, which is very funny. Just the thought of that of like, wow, problematic actor, but two of them. And then one of them is playing up the character that they played in their last appearance that not everybody, but a lot of people didn't like. And then this, and now the other Ezra has to be the sort of serious one. Yeah. And I was like, that's kind of interesting and stuff. So I don't know how that would work with Grant. It's an interesting
concept. I feel like the other Barry isn't serious enough.
Yeah, no, he was just jokes 24/7. Yeah,
he's still jokes too. Yeah.
And you're talking about
in some of it.
I don't know. I think it
short hair Barry
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I thought he was relatively like straight man with it and stuff. I thought it was neat.
He was straight man.
He wasn't
at the
like,
beginning.
oh,
I think
I'm actually, oh, I'm actually, I'm Mary Ellen. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like,
yeah. It doesn't
yeah.
especially in like the Zod fight at the end. I feel like it doesn't work as well because it feels like these interactions should have happened in the first half of the movie, but like only now are we getting to like him teaching Barry how to God damn it, him teaching that long hair Barry how to do stuff. I'm like, this would have been something that should have happened early in the movie. Why is it happening now?
Well, that's what's weird. He loses the powers, which that's a Flashpoint thing and stuff. That's not a surprise to me. But then is it
just for the sake of giving him the powers back in that moment? Is that the only reason he loses his powers? I think so.
To make also that's the thing. Flash as a character, some people think he's too hard to write because he's so OP. He's more OP than Superman, honestly. Yeah. And so to remove the Flash that is experienced and knows how to do stuff, to remove his powers for, the entire second act, that in theory would allow for, oh, now Act 3, now Flash is back. It's basically an origin, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep. And we get the origin stuff.
Which that's interesting. I thought that was a fresh way to do that because, again, like the show already covered it and Arrow even covered it. Which, like, again, not everybody watched the show, but the show was pretty successful, so I get it.
Yeah. He just does it more like a dumbass. That's it. He just feels like more of a dumbass. Maybe it's just the fact that we don't like dumbass Barry Allen, but it doesn't.
He's a big dumbass. He's just a dumbass. He was like, I got what they were going for, is that he was someone that was
too much. The broccoli,
he was just
shit,
deeply unlikable. The laugh I couldn't handle. Like,
and his like roommates and shit. The fucking Vine dude. Do you know the Vine dude?
What?
The one guy, like one of the assistants in the lab, is like a Vine star.
Oh, really?
Rudy something? Yeah. He did a short film that was kind of fun, but he's like a Vine dude, and he's in this movie for some fucking reason. He's the boyfriend to the other blonde girl. That guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really remember.
It was the whole thing just felt like treading time, like we don't need to go through this whole Marty McFly was not.
I do think that I don't know. I think it was funny. Of like a way to justify, because I've been doing research on the Eric Stoltz stuff, because that's it. That's a funny pull that at first I was like, oh, neat, that's a funny reference, and then they kept mentioning it and being like, oh, look in your face, because if it was just like, Eric Stoltz is Back to the Future, and then like we just kind of ignored it, it's like, oh yeah, because he's not, because he was supposed to be and shit like that. Like that's an interesting like what.
But I feel like the moment it gets mentioned should be the moment where he's like, oh fuck, wait, what? But it kind of keeps going and keeps. I don't know. I guess the Man of Steel happened thing. I don't know. This is. Did you care about the Man of Steel stuff?
I didn't.
No, because I don't. It was. You know what was really weird to me? Like really weird. So he goes. He talks about saving that one kid, which I thought was interesting. That like he was there at the event, and then he only saved one kid. Did they call that kid
Wally? I couldn't hear. I feel like he called him Wally. I might just be really reaching here because I need that fucking guy, man. No.
Yeah, but so he talks about how he saved that one kid, and then like he couldn't save the dad, and so he felt bad. And then when the General Zod stuff is happening in the third act of the movie, they show the kid and they show the dad, but then they never follow up with them. I thought it was like going to be like one of them is going to go and he's going to have the save one person moment from like, I guess, Justice League,
Yeah, but like, that's the thing. This movie is fundamentally saying it's so funny that this came out after Spider-Verse. Because like the theme of this movie, the theme of Spider-Verse was, oh, canon events, fuck them, fuck the rules, fuck what you're supposed to do.
And this movie is the exact opposite.
And this movie says, oh, certain things have to happen. You have to let this happen. And I'm like, that's just the fact that this came out like 2 weeks later and is remarkably worse than Spider-Verse does not help it. And I get that is what Flashpoint is. That's the story of Flashpoint. It's moving on, it's grief and shit like that. It's not the same allegory as Spider-Verse, but when you have Spider-Verse, which is so good, and then this, which is not,
message, and then it feels like one is better than the other. So apparently,
exactly, yeah.
I
don't know. And this movie barely used the concept of multiverse at all. It really just used it to smash some action figures together.
Yeah, What else
Like,
did we want to jump to that, or was there something else that was going on
I don't
too?
fucking no. There's so much other shit. I fucking
Wow.
the second I saw that Dark Flash thing, I was like, oh, he's early.
Oh, that's
Because I
yeah,
knew it was going to be the second Barry just from because I saw the Funko Pop. I was like, oh yeah, that's the other Barry.
Yeah, there's even a trailer I think where you see like a spike in his arm, and I was like,
Oh
okay,
my
so
god,
that's the same. It was like, okay, fine, cool. It's just the way he reacts where he's angry, and I'm like, okay, so that's the same one.
yeah,
I guess, cool. And I saw him killing him, like he does the whole "I'm gonna save you" and then I'm gonna get stabbed in the back. I've seen that in like every movie I think now. That just, and I guess that's a gimmick, but I don't know.
yeah.
The when he saves Future Barry, when he like goes like
Oh
and then he
yeah,
gets stabbed. I've seen
yeah.
that in every movie. You know you know what other movie did that?
What?
Not movie, episode. The last episode of season 1 of The Flash, where
Oh
Eddie
my
shoots
god.
himself. It's just literally the same. I don't know. It's just, I guess they're not the same person, but still, it's just, I don't.
Well, it's the same thing of killing thing in the past and
Yeah, and then
future
he
thing
races,
disappears and
and then
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the way the visuals of the time travel were neat. That was fresh. That was refreshing.
The spear thing.
The sphere thing, and then like
of,
the sort of like the way they visualize the time travel of like,
and that's what I think Muschietti was talking about, how it's supposed to look weird because it's like flash time. I think that's what he was talking about, is like, okay, when he's there it looks very unsettled. The problem is it looks like that
sort of
in
stuff.
real world too.
Yeah, well, it was the CG people, and I was like, this movie relies a lot on CGI humans, which are notoriously very difficult.
They all look like, you know, the one scene in Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1 where it's like he's about to destroy the, I hate that I'm referencing J.K. Rowling stuff, but you know, where he's about to destroy the Horcrux, the serpent thing, and then it's like naked Harry and naked Hermione or whatever. They all look like that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to think of a better example, but I can't think of one.
And I always gave the show shit for this because it was like you're using a lot of CGI people all the time. The show would always use their CGI model of Barry like to an absurd degree for all their big action scenes.
No, that's what it did look like. It looked like that one scene where Barry's fighting himself in season 2. It just looked like that.
And it's like for CW, I'm like, okay, I can let this slide because you're a network TV show. Of course, you can't afford all this shit. But it's just very strange to be like, you're a big budget movie. Why do I don't know? It's not the biggest deal in the world, but there was so much of it.
It's too distracting, and it's the worst on his face. It is the worst on his face.
Yeah,
you see it every time, and in every scene. They didn't do the doubles. They did doubles, but then I actually
think that
over the face.
I think that the fucking I don't know. You didn't think that the double Barry looked good? I thought the double Barry looked pretty good. I was pretty impressed by it.
I could see the double was fine. It was just the face. There's so many shots where the faces.
I thought the face was all right. I was like this is like this it looks like social.
There are times where it is okay when it's like a profile shot, but then there are other shots where it's terrible. When they're walking around a lot, it's horrible because you see the movement kind of shutter on the face, like the way his eyes move.
I didn't catch any of that. I was like most of the movie I was like, wow, most of the budget went to that instead of the other things.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean,
I don't know.
They should have spent their money better on that. In my opinion, it looked worse than Henry Cavill Mustache Gate. Little.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Ezra Miller, Two Faces.
Yeah, I thought it looked fine. All right. I don't know. I don't think it looked that bad.
I thought it looked terrible.
Okay. I don't know.
It's just me.
Well, because there were parts where like they were overlapping and shit like that. I was like, wow, that's like actually, it's not. I don't know. I thought it was pretty.
I guess it's fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
But they should have just match shot it. I don't know why they didn't just do, because a lot of them are just still shots. Just do the take twice and then put two people. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
you do see a lot of over the shoulders, and I'm like, okay, sure. That's not what matters.
It's more so, I guess, than why even do two Barrys? Like maybe it should have just been Wally, because that could have been neat. Of like
a Barry,
maybe you spend a little bit more time at the beginning showing off saving this kid in Man of Steel time, right? And then cut to today, and Wally's an adult, and then it's shit, and that's the mentorship there or something, maybe I just want Wally in this shit. Maybe I'm just stretching and stuff,
and you have a reason to want Wally because it's just the same Barry over and over again.
Because I think even if people like Barry Allen, I don't think they're gonna like this movie. I don't see like
you will love this movie if you like Keaton. If you love Keaton,
will you though?
No,
because I don't know. I like
if you
just
like
if you just want to see movies, Keaton, sure.
If you liked those movies, if you loved the Keaton movies and the style of the Tim Burton movies, I don't see any of that in this other than the musical themes, and even that it's not.
And then the plane covering up the moon and looking like the bat signal.
His intro scene is so fucking weird too.
Really weird.
When he's doing karate on the table and then he's like, "Okay, you guys want some spaghetti?" Yeah. And I'm like, "Okay, fucking sure, I guess."
What is it with all these multiverse movies and food metaphors? Have you noticed this?
Yeah, it's
always the man. Have you seen the man carrying thing video where it's like that scene in every multiverse movie where it just shows?
Yes, yeah,
like,
I did. Lines. Yep.
That's how this felt. Except they used the food metaphor because they thought they could be the new bagel. It's like you're not a bagel.
Man carrying thing
is the multiverse thing.
I will say, man carrying thing is the new sketch-based YouTuber who I consistently watch to replace the other old sketch-based YouTuber. I will say, watched.
I will genuinely say this. Man carry thing is the way I gauge if something is actually popular, because if he makes a sketch about it, I'm like, okay, cool, that's worth a video.
He does do more like comic book specific videos now, but like he'll do a Succession or a Barry video, and I'll be like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and I'm like, cool. You're talking about this
shot
too.
You. Also, I'm pregnant. So that's funny.
But
yeah, Keaton's and also the suit's weird for Keaton. I get that people liked it, but like something about the cowl just looked.
I thought the cowl actually looked a lot better than it did in the old movies. I was actually kind of impressed by the cowl.
I think maybe it's not the cowl; it's like the face. There's something with the nose that was like kind of weird.
Maybe it was it's like thick, so that might be it.
Yeah,
I don't know, but no, you're right. The way he shows up is very weird. The like he's faceless. And
he's like, I'm gonna kill these guys, and then also, okay, how are you guys?
Yeah, and it was a little like, yeah.
And that's even the scene where like when Barry is talking to him over like the intercom or something. That felt very forced. It just felt like. Okay, yeah, I remember your metaphor. Here's another thing about the metaphor. Bruce, your parents died, and that's sad, but like, help me. And then he just starts helping them. And I'm like, yeah, I felt very contrived. And like, I know it's going to, because you're forcing Michael Keaton Batman to help these two doofuses. But like, I guess it worked.
Yeah. It's also very frustrating to me as a big fan of multiverse stories. That every single big multiverse story thing, aside from Spider-Verse, has said, oh yeah, the multiverse is created by time travel. No, it's fucking not.
No.
The multiverse is just created by choice. It's just a thing. And so they were like, yeah, you mess with time enough, you get all the spaghetti multiverse. I'm like, that's not how that works at all. So even the two parallel, the lines happening.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. That's some kind of interesting way to explain it and stuff.
It was interesting to be like, okay, it's not just branching off, because I saw that visual and I thought of Barry drawing that in Flash season 3. I kept thinking about the Flash show, but like I instantly thought it was like, okay, no, it's this instead. I'm like, oh sure, okay,
yeah, it's not as good as the explanation in the Flashpoint animated movie where he's just like, yeah, sonic boom, yeah, time boom, yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's pretty easy, but I mean, it was fine, But yeah, just the way they justify it being a multiverse story, which is really not. It's just a weird time. That's a weird thing. They hype this up as the multiverse. They're like, oh, the multiverse, because multiverse is a buzzword. It's just a time travel.
In one word, yeah. Keaton,
it's Back to the Future 2.
Man of Steel overlap. That's it.
Yeah. Like it's just Back to the Future 2, where they're in a different timeline and things are bad, and then you got to go back to undo the change and shit like that. Like that's all it is. It's just not as good as that.
Yeah,
And
then they go and they have the whole thing
this
about
whole movie took place in 2013. Isn't that weird?
Yes, but they don't really address it, and that's fine, I guess. But like, how old was I in 2013? I don't know. 11.
You were 11 years old in this movie. Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. I was 11.
It's crazy because this movie treated me like
I wish I was 11. Yeah, I wish I was 11 watching this movie. I would have enjoyed it more. But yeah, the whole thing with like him not telling that like made sense, I guess. And there's this scene there that kind of works where he's like, you threw darts on Monkey, and I'm like, okay, this would work in a different movie.
Yeah, this would work in a Flash
I actually
movie.
kind of.
This would work in a movie that's about the Flash, but instead it was, the DC multiverse Flashpoint
and that
thing.
scene felt very like, okay, if you guys are having fun and doing this shit, why are we forcing this scene in here? Like, it feels very forced to be like, see, emotion. Anyways, like, and that's where it's like, I think people are. I saw people praising Ezra Miller's performance in this movie, and all the controversy shit aside for like a brief second, there is a performance there. However, it doesn't feel consistent and I don't relate with it. And it's just, it takes me out of the movie. Like, I get what they're trying to do with the character, but it doesn't work. And it's not just because of the comics. It's just because in the movie, we're supposed to take things seriously when even the characters aren't taking them seriously. And there's a dissonance there. And like, even if you try to make me take it seriously, I'm not going to take it seriously, And so I'm explaining it badly, but like, it just, this performance, maybe it is a good performance, but I can't tell because it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I think if you were to throw in any other actor here, if Grant was doing the same performance, I think Grant would have done a better job. I think like they are given, again, controversy aside, because they suck, and I want to make that clear. They suck, and like
they do.
Don't support this movie for them and shit. We're only doing it because it's this fucking podcast and shit. That's the only reason I went to go see it, because I thought that there would be something to talk about credit scene wise, and there wasn't. So literally, it was a waste of my time.
Everyone's like, we saved something for the credits. No,
they didn't. I thought. Well, I guess we talk about that. No. Like Ezra, they deliver a performance on the emotional parts of the script, but that's because those emotional parts of the script are good. Those are well written, and it's, if the movie was more of that stuff, the Flash related stuff, I'd be like, okay, that could be a fun time. It is just there's a third of this is a Flash movie, and then the rest of it is DC's Flashpoint, DCEU wrap up propaganda.
It like takes bits from
remember
Flashpoint.
Man of Steel?
It takes bits from Flashpoint and then like misplaces them.
Yeah.
The one thing that was kind of not an improvement from Flashpoint, but I will say adding Kara works.
Yeah. As opposed to like little
like the whole thing about like
twink Superman from
like the whole thing about non-powered Barry saving Kara and then Kara saving non-powered Barry, like that it kind of works. It's
because Kara's
dumb
a character,
like I got you line, but like it works, I guess.
And like Kara's
it works better than just having
to be hopeful, and like that's what that character represents. But she's someone that has become jaded. Even in the comics, she's like this. She's become jaded because of like shit. And then she has to kind of come back to that hopefulness and stuff. So I like that.
Yeah.
No, she was great. I honestly think Sasha was really good.
Yeah. She needed to be in the movie more.
She didn't have a goddamn thing to fucking do.
Yeah.
She was barely in it.
I thought she was going to show up at the end. That's what I heard. Because there's that line from the trailer where she's like, "You ready?" And there's like a building in the background. And I was like, oh, so she's going to show up at the end. But she never showed up at the end.
I think I think there were 50 endings to this movie. Because that's the thing. WB was treating this movie, instead of just saying, we're going to make him... What?
There's definitely a version with Keaton in the ending. We know that from like set photos.
Exactly. So. Like there's shit where it's like WB, instead of just saying, oh yeah, the Flash will make a movie about the Flash and move on, they have, because they fucked up their DC universe in terms of the plan and how they want to handle everything, because they fucked it up. And I think it's fair to say that they fucked it up. Even if you like the Snyder stuff, you can tell that WB themselves fucked up this universe. They have been constantly trying to use this movie as a way to get out of that. And that's why it kept getting delayed, because they don't know what the fuck they want. And now James knows what he wants. James is like, we're going to do this. Ed, Flash is going to reboot it. But really all it was just ending it. He was just like, okay, it's done now. That's the way I see it. Especially if there's a new, going to be a new super. I honestly think even Blue Beetle, I think is going to be up in the air if it's actually canon to this new universe until it comes out, and if it performs.
I mean, he said Blue Beetle is the first new character. I get, because I watched that whole Michael Rosenbaum podcast.
I don't watch the whole thing
before like anyone was tweeting about it.
Yeah,
because I just want to listen.
It was a fun watch. I really like that. I liked it a lot from what I've seen.
Yeah, Gunn has a really nice moment where he talks about like the Disney stuff and being fired. and everything.
Okay.
And it's a really Rosenbaum. He's an interesting interviewer.
I like Rosenbaum as an interviewer.
Sometimes he says stuff that I'm like, why are you asking these questions? But then he does really get to, for lack of a better term, the inside of them. You know, like it's aptly named. It was a good podcast. But yeah, he was like, Blue Beetle is the first character, but Superman is the first film. And so that's kind of confusing. I guess the idea is just if they do like a big movie crossover thing, Blue Beetle will be in it. You know,
and if Blue Beetle, because Blue Beetle's existence isn't gonna fuck with the rest of who it doesn't really.
No,
Blue Beetle's not going to be
like
in Justice League. Blue Beetle's not a Justice League member. Maybe he'll be in a Teen Titans thing later down the line or something. But that's it.
He'll be in like the side of it, yeah. But I don't know.
And because WB didn't know what they were doing, they've been fucking pushing this back because they wanted to end it off with new Batman actor Michael Keaton or new Batman actor fucking George Clooney or fucking whatever.
Yeah, they probably didn't know what they wanted to end it as a reveal for like the new Batman.
Yeah,
but we don't have James a new was like,
Batman. Just end it as a bit. We're gonna move on because you've been fucking dicking around with this movie for so long. You're killing.
Unless it is. Is there a world in which this is Clooney? That's what I thought too.
It'd be fun. Honestly, I saw that was the only time I was like, that's a funny ride. That's funny. The ending.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are freaking out about it. I don't care. But because I was like, that's a fun, like, okay, that's because that's a callback to a movie that exists as opposed to Nick Cage fighting a fucking giant spider, which is a funny thing because I get it. Nobody else got it.
No one. If you're in the theater, you're just gonna be like, "Huh? Okay."
Yeah,
and that's it.
And then you do that instead of Brandon Ruth or Grant or any of the other shit that's like popular.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about that when we get to fucking that shit. But I don't know. Like as a universe reboot, this movie did not do anything. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it doesn't do anything. It just kind of puts him in another timeline. And says, "All right, you don't have to see him again. Hopefully, maybe I don't know."
Yeah.
But yeah, Zod doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
He just kind of stands around. He probably filmed like a couple things in like a mocap thing and then called it good and then walked away.
You know what's weird? Probably. I noticed this.
What?
The little fucking thing that he projects to the world, right? The little TV ad thing where he's like all glitchy and stuff. That's new.
Yeah.
That was in Man of Steel, but they refilmed it. And redid it way worse.
Oh,
it looked way better in Man of Steel. Man of Steel had this really interesting glitch effect where whenever he moved, it would like retain. It was like really like it was like sort of like analog
the whole
horror
thing, right? Yeah, you're right. Because there's not as much depth to it. In
this is just he's standing still and he looks glitchy.
Yeah,
it's such a weird choice.
Doing things worse now.
I don't know.
Everything is worse now.
I guess it was just to be like, look, it's different, but I don't know.
Yeah. What happens? I don't
like. I couldn't imagine going to this movie as a Man of Steel fan because I'm not a Man of Steel fan. But being like, oh my god, Man of Steel, I love Man of Steel, and then it's just not the things that made Man of Steel good.
There's like one like zoom in shot, and that's it.
Barely,
and it looks weird.
I didn't even remember that.
And then she goes Zod, and then she goes and fights Zod, and I'm like, okay.
Like it's so.
There's
weird
also that whole thing where they like killed Infant Clark, and I'm like. This has no effect on me. She was like, what did you do? And I'm I
think it was just to show how evil Zod is. Oh, he killed a baby. Especially, at the beginning of the movie. Oh, he saves a bunch of, Barry saves a bunch of babies and shit. And then for her, it's like, oh, you killed my baby cousin while you fucking suck. Let me let me fight you and shit.
I guess, yeah.
Give you a reason because at the moment, because this is the weird thing. Man of Steel is based upon, hey, Kal-El, we want you to terraform Earth with us to turn it into Krypton. And Clark is like, no, it's my home because I was raised here. Kara wasn't raised here. Kara fucking was trapped and imprisoned. And she has no reason to dislike Zod aside from the fact that he's bad. Aside from the fact that he kills people.
So it's just that's the only way you can get her to
she has no reason to because she didn't even give a shit to begin with, right? She was like, I don't give a fuck about you guys because you guys imprisoned me, so I'm out,
Yeah.
But it was also weird because she was like, oh, General Zod, oh, he's one of the worst of us. Anyway, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go hang out with General Zod. And then General Zod killed people. Oh, I can't do this.
No, okay. And then she just she shows up there and Zod sees her, and then she just shows up at the Batcave again. And I'm like, so what happened to General Zod? Did he chase you? You just said bye-bye and then left. I'll see you later. What happened? I don't,
and like
that was very weird to me.
He doesn't even try to like,
it wasn't
talk
take me
to
out of the
her.
movie weird, but it was just like,
because the way
that's
that Man of
odd.
Steel goes, right, is like, the way Man of Steel goes is
No.
is like, oh, Kal-El, come, we want to talk to you, and they talk. They're honestly semi-allies for a little bit until Clark realizes he's going to destroy the Earth. This car shows up and he's like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
and I killed your fucking cousin too. Yeah. It's just weird. It's just such a strange choice that I don't. He
doesn't feel like he's even performing. He's just reading lines. He's like, I killed Clark. Or I killed him.
The infant did not survive.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. What happened to fucking all the crazy Zod shit from Man of Steel? So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Remember when people do you think that this movie was going to end off? No, because he obviously would have gone back and let his mom die. That's like the whole point of the movie. But for part of me, I was like, man, was the original ending supposed to be that they do save this world and that's the reboot? And so it's Supergirl and Barry with Ed Keaton and shit like that.
No, I think it would have rebooted, but then they would have kept Supergirl and Keaton. Okay. He'd be like, "Oh, I kept my friends that I just made recently." You know, I felt like that would have probably been.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying.
I don't remember. This movie sucks.
The movie sucks. That's a good point. Fucking, I don't know. Like it. We were talking about Zod, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And Zod shit. But then like that ends kind of fast. And then I almost called him Batfleck. Jesus. Keaton just sacrifices himself, but then nothing happens. He just slams his jet in there, and then he's like, "Oh no! Oh, shields! Oops." Anyways, it's the whole Keaton death thing. I didn't get that. I was like, "What's?" I guess he dies. It doesn't matter. It's not actually him, so who cares? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I'm so just like disconnected from everything this movie was trying to do.
Yeah,
I'd say as like all of the multiverse Flashpoint, fucking Batman type shit.
Yeah,
was so clearly slapped on. It's so weird because it feels like it was slapped on at the last minute, but it has been the reason so many of the directors left.
Yeah.
So I'm like baffled as to why it doesn't matter.
At least
it's
like
barely anything.
And so then like the other thing is, so we're at cameos now, right? We're basically at cameos now. So what? I don't. This is visual bits now. I'm massaging my head, and also I have a gun. So like I don't. George Reeves, I guess, because he's the first.
George Reeves makes sense. Like the ones that they picked, I'm like they make sense, but they picked ones, and then for some reason just didn't have time to do other ones. You know.
Why are they all Superman? Is there a reason they're all Superman other than that? Like we like Superman.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, I don't know.
They're always Superman. Did Manny Muschietti just want to direct the Superman movie? Fucking, I don't get it. Why were they all? Because he said he picked them, and then they only like got to keep a couple. But like, why were they all Superman? Did Warner Brothers tell them they had to all be Superman?
Like George Reeves makes sense. Chris makes sense. The fact that there's CGI. I mean, well, there was Adam West Batman.
So there was, but that wasn't like a highlight one. The only ones that were like highlighted was George Reeves, and then you kind of see Jay Garrick.
Yeah,
then it's highlighted. That was
neat. I was just like surprised. I was like, oh wow, something Flash related. Yeah. Finally,
and Nick Cage gets a whole ass sequence.
Yeah, to get a whole
Chris Reeve. So why? What's the Superman thing? I don't get the Superman thing.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're asking the wrong fucking dude here, man.
Is it just because Superman, Batman, the Superman? I don't.
Well, they're old movies.
Because we already
most old movies were because
all the Batmans are already in the movie, so we got
all the Batmans are already in the. I guess what was it gonna be Val Kilmer, the man that's like suffering from lung cancer right now? That'd be kind of fucked up.
No,
so let's show. Oh no, but then let's show CGI dead people. So maybe I don't know.
CGI Nick Cage. That's not really Nick Cage.
That was weird.
No way, that's really Nick Cage.
like, that's so weird to me that they made that such a focus, because that is like we know about it because we're fucking weird. Anybody listening to this knows it because we're weird. I need to, when we're done, I'm gonna ask my mom if she knows that Nick Cage was almost Superman, because I don't think she does.
Thing.
And like I don't think they fucking know. And like it would be like but it's like it would be it on its own, that sequence is fun because it's like I know the bit. Because I know what it's doing, and I know the giant spider, and I think that's really funny.
It's
like that's
funny,
fun,
but it's not. Why is it?
Is it worth not
like
having Grant?
Reference.
Is it worth not having the TV stuff? Is it worth like all this shit? Like, no.
Yeah, even Titans did the TV stuff, so I don't.
Titans did it pretty well.
Yeah. With like rock music. That's the needle drops sucked, by the way. Just all of them in general.
They were at least like they were a little more interesting than most other needle drops, but yeah, I like the fact that it was like the specific era of rock and stuff. But
I guess I didn't pay attention to that. I just thought they were like only two of them, so it felt kind of forced for the only two times that they did it. Yeah. But I don't get the Superman thing. I don't know why they did it. It's immoral. It's weird. Yeah. It doesn't fit. It's just, it doesn't add anything. And it's not even a scene worth discussing because it happened so briefly. So I don't know why they made such a big deal about it. So I don't.
And it's
like, I don't even really get what's going on in the scene. Like, they crash the worlds and then they undo crashing the worlds. But are those really the worlds? Probably not. Or I guess like,
are they saying that in Chris Reeves' timeline, like he and Supergirl from that really bad Supergirl movie, which like
were in the same
they confirmed that for some reason, and they see a big hole open up and they're just like, huh, that's weird. Anyway,
oh no, we died. Never mind, we didn't die. Okay,
like,
anyways, off to fight fucking Power Man, the guy in the fourth movie. That guy.
Like, especially like, after seeing Smallville, which did have a really nice Chris Reeve cameo because he was still alive at the point. Like it's so heartless, and like, and same with the George Reeves one, and like this era of like, oh, let's bring dead people back as CGI to make people clap in the movie theater. Nobody gave a shit in my theater, at least.
And I saw this tweet and it said it perfectly. The reason they're doing this is because we didn't boo at CGI Luke Skywalker. I did. I
booed
did too,
like crazy for it.
But everyone was so happy about it. That fucking stupid ass episode of Boba Fett that like now they feel like they can do this with whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. With
Luke Skywalker was alive. That's the other. No, but they didn't boo. No, we didn't boo at Tarkin enough. At Rogue One CGI Tarkin.
That's true. Yeah.
Everybody and back then I didn't boo at it because I was like, whoa, Star Wars. I was a stupid little fucking freshman.
Yeah. Did they do college? Did Carrie Fisher die before they did Leia in Rogue One?
She was alive when she did the mocap, but she died. No. She was alive when they made it and stuff, but she died like a couple days after Rogue One came out.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like weird, like timing and like awkward taste, and but like it wasn't intentional on the.
It's not like they would have known. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Exactly. Yeah. But no, like, I don't understand who those cameos are for.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this movie's for. And I don't know, like, what this movie's purpose served aside from attempting to do the Flash.
Those cameos are a symptom of a bigger problem with the whole movie where it's shoving shit on the screen because it's like member berries. It's just like, remember this and then remember that. And it's like, if you're watching this movie, why am I supposed to remember these things that have nothing to do with this movie? It's taken the lessons from No Way Home and applying them very poorly. But the weird thing is this movie has been in development since before No Way Home was even a thought in executives' minds. So how is it so far along, but it feels like it's only been made in a year?
Together. I feel like every single executive got together, had a fucking meeting, and been like, multiverse. You know what the multiverse means? We got to show off all the cameos and shit. But I also think that a lot of those cameos, because they're CG, they might have been added later. They might have been added to add more hype after, like in a post No Way Home sense.
I do remember seeing a leak at one point. This was a year or two ago that was the same list of characters. It was Keaton Batman, two Ezra Miller Flashes, and then Supergirl. And then they show up, but then Zod goes back and he kills baby Kal-El. And like that was a scene in the leak for the movie. And I'm assuming at some point they probably filmed a version of that or something, and then they just completely cut it out. There is a version of this movie that has the same structure, but just completely different scenes. And for some reason they went with this, I guess. Not that that would have been better. I don't think that would have been better, but it's just, this feels very much like a movie that was supposed to be 4 hours long and a complete waste of time, and instead is 2.5 hours long, still a waste of time.
Even then, like the fact that 2.5 is the thing that's shaved down.
Yeah.
And like, and it's I don't even fucking know.
Even the cameos, like the cameos are such a small part of it too. It's not like if you look at No Way Home, there are cameos, sure, but those cameos influence the message of the story. You know, and there's the other villains, and he tries to save the other villains. There are other Peters, and the other Peters tell him a lesson about loss, and then they all fight together, and there's a whole thing, and that makes sense. Here, there is no structure to the cameos; they're just there to be there. And I think you're going to see more of that going forward too. Which I was going to
do a video on this, and I'm taking the same idea. I'm sort of breaking it into another like concept. But like, there's a way to do the multiverse in a way that works. The way to do multiverse in the way that's corporate greed shitty, you know? And the fact that this came out right after Across the Spider-Verse, a movie that I am on record as saying it is very cool how these cameos aren't for clap now, please, but instead it's just a celebration of the character. This like one felt for clap now, please.
If it's like the spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse, the Donald Glover scene, it's like if that was every cameo. And even then, the Donald Glover thing kind of makes sense because it's the Prowler and there's something there.
It'd be like if the Donald Glover scene was at the climax of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
The Donald Glover scene was fucking one-off bit in the middle of the movie, you know?
Yeah. So why is this here? It should have been like while they're like running through the timeline, you see something, you know? That's how the Flash does it, which I guess they would have been ripping off the Flash. So they want to do this instead. So I don't know. They're ripping off the show so much that they should have watched the show, but they don't include any of the show characters, which means they don't respect the show. And that I don't.
But they want to be the show because they have all these these friends from work that like, you know, you have a girl and a guy that's very clearly in someone's mind supposed to be the replacement of Cisco and Caitlin.
Yeah,
you know, and Iris is barely in this, and I feel bad for Kiersey Clemons because I think she could be a really good Iris.
Yeah,
like.
But then also it's like, what was the other thing that took direct inspiration from the show? There's one other thing that I was thinking that was like, this is just
Barry's hair color.
That's yeah. I can't think of it now. I lost it. But it was like, I don't know. There's so much stuff that you can try to be the show, and it's okay if you're the show, but you want to not be the show. Oh yeah. Teddy Sears. I know that we're just like happy that it's Jay Garrick, and that is true. But you know, the only reason they did that is because they just Googled Jay Garrick and then saw that showed up and then shoved him in. And that leaves that has.
Was he played by Teddy Sears?
I don't think it's Teddy Sears, but the face looks like Teddy Sears. The suit is Teddy Sears. Like the suit is very definitely the Teddy Sears suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can see like it's the lightning
then that makes that weird. Exactly. I don't like that. I thought it was just some random guy that was supposed to be from the olden times.
If you look at the suit, it is a very leather suit, and you can see the lightning bolt design, and it's just the lines, the stitched lines where they don't fill in the lightning bolt. You can tell that it is at least the same suit, which is weird. That feels like you just Googled Jay Garrick, saw the first image was that one from the Flash of Two Worlds episode, season 2, episode 2, where he like fights the Sandman or some bullshit, and they just took that and then put that in here. And it's just like, so why are you doing, like, they say these cameos were under Andy Muschietti's control. And I kind of don't want to believe that, because if that's true, why did he pick these? You know?
I'm sure he picked a lot and then they cut some. I think they were under his control, but the ones that, you know.
I want to know the other ones he picked. I want to know if it is all just like a Superman thing. If it is just a Superman thing, then sure. Okay, he's a fan of Superman. He wants to show a bunch of Superman cameos, I guess. But it's just, I don't know. The way that was done, and it's probably not his fault, and I'm just kind of ragging on him because he directed this movie, but the whole thing with all of that left a very weird taste in my mouth of like, why is this happening like this? And why are we doing this? And can this movie please be over soon? Which I guess it kind of was. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, but don't forget they did the Savitar twist, but worse.
Oh, they did the Savitar twist. Yeah, because he's a big metal guy.
Because he looked the same too.
Yeah.
It was the same. Like,
remember they had that little moment of horror where he's dreaming? I think it's the equivalent of Black Flash. Weird. Because it's like Dark Wally West, right? That's what Dark Flash is.
Well, Dark Flash I thought it was just like some force of nature type shit.
Dark Flash is, I think, Wally West, but he has like the design that's like a black lightning bolt or something.
Oh yeah. It was Wally's. Yeah, it was during Wally's era. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying that that character was.
Yeah. But Dark Flash is like, he's a bad guy. Like he goes like the darker route or something, and he kills people or something like that. I remember that's what happened, but I'm not 100% sure anymore.
I don't remember. I don't know a character named Dark Flash, but that might just be me. I don't know.
But yeah, they just did Savitar, but he has
instead of from 20 years in the future, he's 2 seconds in the future or whatever.
I also kept trying to figure out if they hired a different actor to play old Ezra, but is it, or did they just like CGI their face
over that other actor?
No, the voice is the same. Their voice is the same, but like Ezra, the actor doesn't look like Ezra. And I was like,
maybe they spent all the money on aging up Ezra for that instead.
They didn't spend money on actually creating his face. Yeah. But like, because I remember that little scary bit that they shoved in there that they were like, "Ooh, look, we're gonna scare you." Why
did he have sharp teeth?
And he's like, "Ah." I'm like, okay. It was kind of interesting in a way that it's like, okay, he's been doing this for like years and years and years, and that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
But like they don't do anything with it. It's just like he shows up and then he dies and that's it. He didn't feel like it's also any especially weird for him to be like this he cares so much about Michael Keaton Batman and Kara, yeah.
You know, like people he's known for like 2 minutes. Like if it was all to save his mom, I'm like, okay, that could work, but they didn't frame it like that, you know?
No. Because they never cut back to the mom after that scene too. So we don't know what's going on. Maybe that would have been like Russian Family tacked on, but like you should have shown her in those moments when they're like destroying the world with the world engine. You know, how is she reacting to it if she's such a pivotal force to him? So I don't know. That also felt very, very, very weird. But then he sacrifices himself in a move that I saw a mile away, and then he dies, and then oh no, he goes back, and the one scene in this movie that kind of worked, I guess.
Yeah. But again, it's because it was just very similar to the first season of The Flash.
That scene was also in the trailers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
It was.
I mean, I do like that, you know, we saw the dad get like acquitted.
Yeah.
You know, like as opposed to like Eobard Thawne confessed to the crime.
I did like the way that he got acquitted, where he was just like, oh, the tomato cans got moved and that's why the spaghetti. And I was like, that's kind of funny. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. But I'm of the belief though, just because like I think Barry Allen is past the concept of having a dead mom. I think it could have been interesting if like, okay, he goes back, lets his mom, does all that shit, comes back, the world is normal, and his mom's alive, and you have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
you know, like you that make the hard choice to do the hard thing, and then you come back, and then you're rewarded for it of a happy. You know?
Yeah.
I get that. Like it might muddy up the movie's message and stuff. Yeah,
but
because then that would also tie it to Flash more. That would tie the different like the sort of new rebooted universe a little bit better too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, even in the whole thing of like he's not allowed to have a mom, like even in the Flash show, there's a universe that exists out there where his mom never died and he still became the Flash and he was the Flash and shit.
Because that's what it is in the comics, you know. The dead mom wasn't added until like pretty recently, to like Flash Rebirth era.
Barry Allen is just like a dad in the comics, right? He's just like a dude.
But they want to make him Wally. Everybody wants to make him fucking Wally, and I just make him just be Wally. Then stop trying to turn Barry into Wally. Because you can't.
I mean, Wally has his parents.
Yeah, well, sorry, not in terms of like the dead parents, but like the relatability and the like the modern hero backstory and stuff like that.
Quirky, funny, go lucky guy. Yeah. But then, he moves the tomato cans or whatever the fuck, and then
Which he
has a
didn't,
moment
though.
with
He
a
didn't
mom.
move the tomato cans. He just put it back. Just something happened in the...
put it back, and then was it just happy, like
some sort
I
of
thought that's what he
timeline
was like.
change.
He was like, the tomato can was moved, and so that I thought that's what he meant, was he was saying that he moved the tomato can because he's a dumbass and he just fucking talks.
You're saying, he put it on the top shelf.
He put on the he moved the cans and put them on the top shelf.
All of the cans?
I don't know.
I thought that he was, because it was,
because he looks at the camera, remember?
Because he's looking
there,
up to the...
and so I thought it was like,
he moved, so he intentionally fucked with the timeline again?
That's what I thought, and I thought that's why George Clooney
So
was
he
there.
didn't learn anything.
I thought that's what happened. I thought
they were just reminding us about the camera, and then his presence in the past. No, because you're right. It wasn't that much of a difference. Because I thought it was like years later was when she died.
Yeah, no. I thought it was like,
oh my god, he really learned nothing.
Yeah, I thought he was just like, oh wait, I can at least do this though, and I can just put the tomato cans here. So he looks up instead, and I'm like, okay, cool. Your super glued teeth fell out. Good for you, I guess.
I don't even fucking know anymore. Now I'm like, wow, even the core of the movie didn't have
no, it just
the whole point.
I guess. So I don't know. That was weird to me, but sure, I guess. And then Clooney shows up.
And then which, like, again, I thought that was kind of funny because I was like, oh, because I also forgot he was Batman.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's just fucking world-renowned actor George Clooney.
There is another movie that ends like that, where within the last 30 seconds of the movie, they like reveal something, and it's just kind of like a fun thing. What movie am I thinking of?
A bunch of movies have done that. Like
a superhero movie that does that.
I can't think of. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what though.
Fuck. Not Shazam. I mean, kinda, because he just lives at the end of that fucking movie.
No, like, was it Shazam 1?
No, I was thinking Shazam 2, like where he just is alive, but that's still like a moment.
There's something I'm thinking of, and then I guess it is the Shazam 1. What I'm thinking of, where like it's the Superman thing at the end, and then it goes and then it just ends.
I guess, yeah, that's also true.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, but no, there's a ton of shit that's done that and stuff. I think it's a funny bit to end on and stuff and whatever, and but then it's weird in the credit scene, which I waited to watch for. It was the credits.
Well, the credits is the dog. Oh, and
the credits are the dog. Yeah, with Aquaman and stuff. And then I'm just so surprised they didn't show anything about a reboot, because I thought that way you could make money from this movie.
I thought
if they had said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna, we're rebooting the universe in this movie. Come see it for the reboot." Yeah. If you go to see this movie for the reboot, you're gonna be wasting your fucking money. You know.
You know what my theory was? My theory was they were gonna show like the Superman suit without the actor or something.
Yeah,
because this movie was so Superman heavy that
I think they're still designing the Superman suit.
Where's Superman? Yeah, that's true. They would have, if they had like finalized something for that movie, they would have shown something from that movie. Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
But is this the way that they're just going to explain the reboot? Is it just the Flash?
I don't think they're going to explain the reboot. I think they're just going to say, fuck it, who cares? And I think that's honestly smarter. This was their chance to explain it. This was their chance to show some big sweeping universe-wide, what
and if
goes
someone
away,
asked, they could just redirect them to this and just say, oh yeah, because of the tomato cans. Sure.
Or or like, because it's like, of course, because they're not keeping Ezra. There's no fucking way they keep Ezra. That's true. I will eat my words if I'm wrong, but like, I don't think James Gunn is that stupid. He can be stupid, but I don't think he's that stupid in the sense of like, as because just that their reputation is so bad. Fucking bad, and they are not really well liked as the Flash either. And they didn't do that good of a job here. This movie's, I don't think this movie's gonna make that much money.
Do you think Machete directing Brave and the Bold has anything to do with that now?
What, you think Ezra Miller's going to show up in Brave and the Bold as Flash?
I don't think so. Could it just be a blank slate for Machete 2 to just be like, okay, you did the Flash, do a new movie? Yeah, okay.
I think it's like, you did the Flash, you weren't really able to make your own movie because WB has been shitting on this movie for 20 years straight. Okay. Here you go. Oh, you have a good pitch for Brave and the Bold? Okay, here you go,
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Like I am not too worried about Muschietti doing.
No, I'm not worried about Muschietti doing it. I'm just like, does that mean that he will want to carry over things from his existing movies? You know, like from
I don't think so.
No,
because what's carrying over? Nothing changed.
Yeah,
there's nothing new that Muschietti brought to this movie specifically.
Yeah,
because Kirsten Clemens Iris was already cast. It'd be cool if she stayed, but like, I think if Ezra goes, she should go. Personally,
I don't think we'll see Barry again. For if
I don't think so. Honestly, I think if we get a Flash movie, it's just gonna be Wally. It should be. Yeah. It's what it always should have been.
Yeah. It'd be so funny if Clooney is the next Batman. That'd be so funny.
It would be, because it would fit the old Batman stuff.
Yeah,
but no, the fucking credit scene, the way, because it sounds like there's another movie between this movie and the credit scene of a million different Batmen.
Yeah,
that I would have rather watched.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, could this have been, instead of Keaton, could it have been Jeffrey Dean Morgan instead? Would that have worked better?
It should have been. It would have been much better.
Yeah. But you can't do
because then it would have actually just been Flashpoint, and it wouldn't. But then you can't sell that as well, I think.
Yeah.
Unless if you said, I thought that they were going to say Michael Keaton wasn't actually Bruce Wayne.
But you're selling it on Nick Cage Superman, which makes no fucking sense.
But they're not selling the movie on that. They just have that as a cameo for people to get the joke.
You have to sell the movie on Keaton as like, Keaton Batman is back.
Yeah.
He's not doing this shit again, is he?
No.
Maybe
he shouldn't.
He shouldn't.
He never should have.
There was that scene where he was stitching himself and he was like smiling in the mirror, and I'm like, what's this about?
I need to rewatch the Keaton movies. I feel like it's a reference to those.
Yeah, maybe. Does he stitch himself in those movies?
It's just so weird because there's so much Batman in the daytime stuff here. And if you want to reference Keaton Batman, like, those movies are all very moody and dark and like stylized and shit.
There's plenty of Keaton references. There are no Burton references.
Yeah.
There's nothing stylistically Burton about any of this. It's just,
it kind of explains this movie then. It explains everything about the movie, because it's not for people who like the movies. It's for people who like the action figures. Yeah, it's for people who see, Keaton Batman, I like that.
It's for people who got the
Batman,
glass.
I like those movies for this reason, you know?
You know the McDonald's Clooney mug for that glass that when McDonald's was for the Batman Robin, there was like the George Clooney glass McDonald's mug.
I think so, yeah.
I saw it in a High Top video, and like, I think it's a famous mug. That's like, it's actually a really nice mug that they just gave out with a bunch of Happy Meals. It's for people who had the mug. That's the audience of this movie. We here at Warner Brothers really wanted to show some love to the people who bought our merchandise. So here's Bat Keaton in a fucking weird ass suit flying around, and it's weird, but you go.
It's similar. I don't want to shit talk it too much because I like No Way Home and stuff. It's when No Way Home makes the Raimi references without actually like referencing Raimi's style.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I'm something of a scientist myself times 10.
Yeah.
You want to get nuts?
All that stuff.
Let's get nuts. It's just there for the trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Lingers on the shot for 5 extra seconds just for the trailers.
Just for the clap.
Yeah.
The applause. People are going to go crazy for this.
Oh my goodness. I did love how Keaton was so like just weird faced when he was fucking electrocuting the shit out of Barry. He was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. Good for you, Mr. Keaton. Good job. Get that paycheck, buddy. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think of what else there is to say about this movie, other than it's just a fucking mess, and I didn't expect anything going into it, and I was still disappointed. Talking about it made me not hate it as much as I did. I was walking out of the theater and driving home. I was ready to give it like a half star. I think I'd give it a 1 because there's still things I kind of like, but not enough to. Is this my least favorite movie of the year? Maybe.
Except of the year, probably for me, yeah, because I can't think of anything else that I like actively disliked.
You didn't watch Ghosted. If you watched Ghosted would be your least favorite movie of the year.
Well,
but other than
because I don't choose. Oh wait, no, I did watch Ted. Wait, are we talking movies that like I watched this year or movies that came out this year?
I was thinking it came out, but did you watch Ted?
Okay, I watched no Ted movie? Actually, now that I look, no, I watched Zoolander 2. That was the worst movie I watched this year.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And Ted 2. Ted 2 was fucking bad, dude. I hated that movie.
Which is the one with the Jonah Hill Superman fuck
That was
scene.
2. That was 2. That was the only funny part of that movie. That's the only funny part of that movie.
Just that one.
Everything else is like disgusting.
The new Superman is Jonah Hill.
Honestly, Jonah Hill would be a really good Superman. I'm gonna say it. I think he'd be a pretty good Superman.
Yeah, you could give it to him. Give it to Holt. People were throwing around Holt recently, and I think he could do it.
Yeah, they were throwing around for him or Lex.
He doesn't visually look like it.
I think that could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want somebody. I don't know. I want either. I want two sides of the spectrum. Either skinny Darren Criss type small Superman to juxtapose with like a really big Lex Luthor or something, and juxtapose with like a big Batman and also be different from Cavill, or big farm boy physique for Superman. And that's why I'm okay with Corn Sweat. I think that Corn Sweat is the only fan casting I've ever seen that I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Know his acting. All I know is he looks like Henry Cavill. So
he's in Pearl. He was pretty good in Pearl. He was in what's it called? The Ben Platt show. I can't remember what it's called.
Please don't tell me Dear Evan Hansen.
No. Like the show. It's like a Netflix show. The election or the candidate.
Does he wear like old timey outfits? No, that's Pearl. So. That's probably Pearl.
Yeah. Pearl wears old timey outfit. He was good in Pearl. He was really good. So I'm down with him if they go with him. I would like someone that at least looks a little bit more interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
He does, because his physique is interesting and stuff to me.
Chris Evans as Superman. There you go.
Chris Pratt as Superman.
Chris Pratt as Superman.
Yeah. We'll see with this future universe and shit. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care about Marvel I care about the Superman movie. So this Superman movie is going to be amazing. I know that. I don't care about anything else. Like we will see when I start hearing about Machete doing Batman, I might be interested. When I hear about Mangold doing Swamp Thing, that's going to interest me, because Mangold's probably doing Swamp Thing. Although Indiana Jones is apparently bad, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah. And I've been paying attention to Superman for a variety of reasons recently.
Yeah.
But like I'm excited for the Superman movie, but I don't want it to be too overly complicated. Everyone's talking about the Authority and all those things, and I'm like,
I don't know.
I'm going to keep it simple.
James hasn't let me down in like 12 years, so I'm gonna just let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying?
What did you do 12 years ago that let you down?
No, I'm just saying because Guardians came out in 2013 or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't. This is I'm not. I was gonna say it's a fun movie. It's, I guess, not.
If you're not a fan of Flash, it could be fun. You know, it's hard for me because I am a big fan of the Flash. I love the Flash,
and that's
the
what
Flash
I was saying,
has
like,
consistently been fucked over.
Normal people walking into the theater will probably enjoy a good amount of it more than someone who has watched the show.
Those normal people probably saw Spider-Verse already.
And they're just going to go see Spider-Verse again with their kids.
So they're going to come out of this and be like, Spider-Verse was way better.
Yeah.
Because of course it is.
Yep.
DC released this movie at the worst. If they released this in May or when it was supposed to come out in like April, this would have done. I think I would love.
No, this is being sandwiched between like Indiana Jones is coming out soon, which I don't know. That could be good. That could be bad. Mission Impossible.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, it's in terms of superhero stuff. It's off the heels of Guardians 3 and Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
you're off the heels
of 2, I guess, and Blue Beetle soon, which Blue Beetle looks fun. Blue Beetle looks good.
Yeah.
You know, and the trailers for this movie looked good too. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're at the point now that the past Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of ruined the MCU for me. It didn't ruin the MCU because the MCU was already kind of ruined for me, but it cemented that I don't really care about the direction the MCU is headed. The Flash, it's not making me not care about the way the DCU headed, but that's all so far in the future that like I'm not invested in any of it right now. Superman's supposed to come out 2025. That's a year and a half from now, you know? So it's like we have time before that. And Brave and the Bold is 2 years and a half from now.
I think like this movie and Shazam feel sort of similar in the sense where it's like, fuck, we made these movies and we're rebooting.
We're just gonna
we gotta release them and we gotta say shit about them.
Same with Aquaman.
we have to say that they exist. We have to say that they matter so that we don't lose money on them too. We're gonna lose money, but like we can't let them fucking get zeroed. We can't tell people not to go see it.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? And then be like, but Superman's gonna be new.
Which is why maybe I'm not gonna give credit to Marvel. Marvel was maybe smarter just releasing titles and then not doing anything else. Yeah. Because they probably have a bunch of scripts lined up for Secret Wars, but they don't have to use any of them. You know, with Aquaman, they entered production like 3 years before they had a release date, and then they just kept pushing the release date. And The Flash, it's been like that times 3 years, 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
So all these movies, they had release dates already set, and they had promises to already release these movies. So they have to release these movies. And I think that's why they released The Flash, is because they put so much money into it. You can't like cut it out. You have to release it. Marvel, they have Secret Wars, but they could push it by a year. They did push it by a year. They could push it by another fucking year, and no one would really care anymore because they have time. I don't think that's good for them either. But like at least they're not wasting money. Am I complaining about companies winning money? No.
The issues of Marvel are radically different from the WB problem, and I think the WB problems are it's Warner Brothers trying to be Marvel. And then Marvel is seeing the consequences of being Marvel, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Like they're two sides of a different thing.
Yeah.
And what WB is striving for this thing that they should not be striving for. And Marvel has realized we set up this thing that we should not have done.
Yeah. You know? Because Marvel's problem is that they're oversaturated. It feels like DC's problem is that they're undersaturated, but still it's not quite that.
And then they're trying to oversaturate.
Yeah. They're trying to oversaturate, and that's their problem. Yeah, comic book movies. I got Mission Impossible left though this summer. That's gonna be good.
And Barbie.
Oh yeah, that's right. And
always forget Barbie. What are you, some kind of misogynist or something?
Yeah, I'll go watch it. I still need to figure out if they're gonna actually are theaters actually doing the dual feature Barbie Oppenheimer both in IMAX thing. I hope they are, so I can just sit in a chair for 6 hours, and sleep. Midway through.
Yeah, sleep through the movies. Yeah.
Sleep through Oppenheimer and then watch Barbie, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And then wake up.
I'm not interested in watching Oppenheimer. I don't care.
Oppenheimer. The bomb's gonna blow up and it's gonna be my alarm clock to be like, oh, okay, shit. Here we go.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna watch Barbie twice. I don't need to see Oppenheimer. I'm sure it'll
Nolan.
be good. It's just not my thing. I'm over Nolan. I used to be all over Nolan.
Fair. I watched Tenet again recently, and I love Tenet. Yeah. And I'm the only.
I need to not rewatch. I need to see Tenet. I need to get over my. What?
Yeah. Brian said he liked Tenet, I believe, at one point.
All right, then maybe I will. If Brian says he likes it, I trust him.
Yeah. But I'm just. There are other good movies coming out. We're just we got Guardians at peak, then we got Spider-Verse at peak, and now we got duds like The Flash. I heard Transformers isn't very good. Indiana Jones seems to be mixed response kind of stuff. And then we got Mission Impossible, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Dune. Yeah. Remember Dune? The Dune I saw the Dune trailer in IMAX. That was cool. That was nice.
I mean, it's
we got good movies.
It's what I said in the superhero fatigue video. It's like one bad superhero movie isn't going to kill the fucking industry and kill the genre and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is just a bad movie. Okay, we have Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is still out and still fucking good. I'm gonna go see. I need to see Spider-Verse to clean my palate after this. That's how I felt when I finished this movie.
That's probably.
I was like, I gotta see it. I need to fucking relieve myself from this.
Yeah. A movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a bad movie. I don't blame Machete. I think Machete will do a decent job with Batman. We'll just have to see and stuff.
It's just it's a shame because it's The Flash. And the show ended and it sucked. And the movie ended and it sucked.
Yeah. So, but you know what is good? The comics.
The
current comics are very good. Oh. No, hang on. I wouldn't go that far.
No, okay. The current Flash comics are good?
Yeah, no, the current Flash comics are amazing. The current Flash comics are like some of the best comics he's had in decades.
Are they Wally comics?
Yeah.
Or are they very comic? Oh, they're
granted, I'm pretty far behind, so maybe he's not anymore because I know.
Is it because I remember when they did the 1 minute war or something, but that's over now.
It was after that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think so. I can't remember specifically. Oh god, who's the
I
writer?
saw
I
a
don't
cover
remember.
and it was like Wally with the white eyes, and it was like one of those, like, you know that Kendrick Lamar music video where it's like super 360 and it's like the globe is like a little circle. It was like a comic cover, but like the Flash running on that, and it looked kind of cool.
That's cool.
And I was like, ooh, okay. So
yeah. No, yeah, those comics are good. I can't remember the name of the writer at the top of my head, but yeah, those are good. I don't know what the deal is currently right now.
Is he still?
No, Williamson did Rebirth. Williamson left, and then I can't remember who it is. It's and the hard part is it starts on like a weird number too. It starts on like 725 or something.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, so it's hard to like, but
yeah, that's out. Green Arrow comics are out. I haven't read them, but
Green Arrow comics,
out.
yeah, they're pretty good. It's Green Arrow, so I will read it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Will we get Green Arrow in the DCU?
We fucking better.
Yeah. We won't. We'll get a video on that. We'll get Ezra Miller as Green Arrow.
Oh my god.
They'll keep them. Keep them in just for the sake of it.
All right. You got anything else to say on The Flash?
It's over. It's finally out. There you go.
It's finally out. Yeah.
Finally out. So.
You know what else is over?
This podcast.
The podcast. Yeah.
Whoa. Are you gonna end it like while I'm talking too, like you did last time? No, you can do that. No, go ahead. No, I can't do the same bit. I'm talking. No, you gotta do the same bit. We repeat bits all the time on this podcast. So I'm not gonna stop talking until you end the podcast.
Every bit I bring up is a new bit. So every single time.
Okay. Yeah. I have a gun.
All right. See you, everybody. Do you want to do questions?
Fuck no.